It was a big problem for BDS and one that they need to put right today, because if you go your first 2 games without a win, you're going to be struggling to get into that top half.
I mean, it basically knocks you down from... Think about every team starting in 5th place, and with each win they get, assuming regulation, of course, you kind of jump up a place. We spoke about Wild already. They've all but guaranteed themselves a 3rd place finish. I think there is still a mathematical chance where they can't, but they're looking pretty good to be in the top 3 of their group. For BDS, as you say, you lose both here. You're still potentially staring down the barrel of 5th place if you don't recover things in a future week. So I'm with you. They do need to recover here, but we can't ignore that Heroic did start out pretty well yesterday with a very dominating 7-0 over TT9. Bans of Ravodon through. Maverick banned here. The only map he ever really gets banned on as well. Very, very valuable here. Alongside the Nook, Namira, and to round things out in their entirety, it's going to be the Azami coming out from Heroic. Oh, have you done it again?
Not too much of a surprise.
Oh my God.
It's because, for anybody wondering, I've been struggling with a cough for the last forever.
You've had a cough too? Oh, really? I wouldn't have known over this whole weekend, Tim.
For the last forever.
Jesus.
So obviously I have to unmute, I have to mute me, and so I just keep confusing myself.
You know, the way you've been walking around like chugging the Colvonia thing, the like cough mixture, you look like an alcoholic.
Do I?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Just necking it. Even Fresh is nodding his head.
Yeah, I'm not. It's just.
You know what I love about this interaction with Fresh, given he's set off camera? It's like you're talking to a cameraman. Like on TV shows, and they might reference, I don't know, Peter behind the camera. It's a very similar sort of thing here. Peter doesn't really sound like a cameraman's name.
But yeah, that's a little behind the scenes for us. And obviously, I talk quite a lot for a living, which dries my throat out. So it's not causing me a problem. It just can cause me to cough sometimes.
Cameron sounds like a cameraman's name.
I'm gonna go home after today. Cameraman does sound like a cameraman's name, to be fair.
Do you think of any other names that fit the bill?
Better.
Nathan came to mind, and that didn't really sound like a cameraman's name.
No.
Like Fergus.
Did you say Cameron or cameraman?
Cameron.
Oh, I thought you said cameraman.
No, I said
as in the ex-Phase player.
I said
and I was
Cameron.
like, yeah, that absolutely sounds like
All
a
right.
cameraman's name.
We've got now a nice tangent there. We'll reset and focus on the game now, shall we? Let's see how things shape up for BDS on their attacking side. They do indeed have 2 hard breaches. This is one of those maps where you can sometimes justify bringing along 3. In the days of old, that was always the case. Here, a little less so. You've got the 4 nades in the back pocket of the Yana and the Sledge. And the operator that seems to be picked up by every single team, given her versatility, it is that the KB coming in from Leakyfac with those impact nades. The impact EMP nades in the back pocket. EMP Impact or Impact EMP?
Impact EMP.
Impact EMP.
Doom is going to be up on the top floor with the Oryx, of course. Plenty of movement will be available from him. He's supported by Blaz as well. But I tell you what, he doesn't have enough movement to get away from Leakyfac, who's going to shut him down with a nice opener there. That gives BDS a little bit of an advantage. And obviously much has been made of the map choice on the way in by the analysts there. BDS, one of... I might not go as far as I will say one of the best club teams in the world. I will put them up there top 2. The other one being W7M, of course. We've seen them beat each other on this map before. But yeah, you know, it's Heroic. I've had a good game yesterday and have really come in today and said, right, it's time to increase the difficulty mode.
I was about to say Skiddy was like lurking just in behind around Shaiko here as well, but the fact that they've managed to barricade up the door inside the stock is really kind of helping Shaiko out here, because they can't get an easy angle onto him, even though they had the idea that he is lurking nearby. Skiddy's worked his way upstairs here, almost getting caught out as well by Bride, but Skiddy's going up, down, left and right, finally gets caught up by Renshiro as he drops through the bar hatch. Elsewhere it's Uno onto a Lemza C4 up over the top, doesn't find his man. 3v3, Tim.
Yeah, they've still got the utility that they need, Bride, there with exothermic in hand, so the job can still be done, whether that be hatches or walls. They can get at least partial access. Blaz is going to move himself out into blue. I like where Heroic are positioned at the minute. They're holding down all the different angles that they need to. They're potentially aware of that blue push. Uno can cover off dirt. You've then got the man deeper into sight. They're set up pretty well at the minute. 40 seconds off to go, and I feel like BDS, they need to first of all find a kill or move them around.
Looks like the idea more is to try and get in here. The Echo can see everything. They know that there are 2 now dropping in. A Sledge onto the wall. The rounding of the corner, and it's Kayak to find a freebie. Looking in for a second as well. Supernova in hand here. No, it's not the Supernova. It is indeed the machine gun. Still looking to see what he can find as Kayak gets a second as well. Dugging around the bar will shut down Bride. But it's Shaiko who's left. And we know Shaiko. We also know Uno. And he says no to Shaiko. First round to Heroic.
I love that play from Kayak. Absolutely brilliant on the Echo. Sends the drone into bar, picks up the drop in, challenges at the right time. You know, he knows when to challenge, when to drop back. All fantastic stuff from Kayak that I really think helped Heroic get that first round over the line. Great start from them, and that's going to put them 1-0.
Whenever I see Echo, when he's not playing with the Supernova, I'm just like, eh? Because I can only think back to Leon yesterday on Cafe playing the silent Supernova, and just like, it barely felt like a punch, like coming out of the gun, but it's so lethal. We went through the damage yesterday, in case you didn't know. 48 damage per pellet, 8 pellets being fired from the Supernova at less than 8 meters. Over 8 meters, it's 20 damage per pellet. Still 8 pellets, of course. So pretty lethal as far as shotguns go. Tim, you can understand why a lot of players are running it. But here, clearly, Kayak not quite of the same persuasion, instead of throwing again to go towards the rifle.
So we head up to the top floor for Heroic in round 2. It's going to be gym and bedroom. Mirror obviously not available, so they're going to have to work on alternatives to try and hold on to that jacuzzi wall. We do have the cap can in the hands of Skiddy, so watch out for those traps. Doom, interestingly, just getting out there into strip. Needs to be careful that he doesn't get picked up, and it's quite easy to be isolated inside of strip. You've only got to open one door to do it, and just before that happens, he's going to skedaddle. He's going to get himself out of there.
Skiddy, skedaddle, skadoodle. Skedaddle, skadoodle, get out of dodge. Yeah, the Solus here seeing on side is really the big one for me because, you know, BDS are a team that generally have been always pretty good in getting in behind information and making plays off the back of it. Here, though, with the Solus on side, you just really struggle to get drones inside the building and actively moving through it. That's why really you haven't seen too much coming out so far yet for the Solus. 3 drones are down, but BDS otherwise being quite conservative with them.
So it's just going to be using that scanner. It's just too easy. 5 remaining for BDS, so information still shouldn't be in short supply, but they are going to have to get them out in the field because currently 3 of them are sat in pocket. Leakyfact just working from underneath. He's got the skeleton key in hand, so obviously the opportunity to open up that ceiling above him and look for the potential. Lens is just sat waiting with the EMP in hand, but it's going to be Doom to open us up, getting another to his account and taking down Renshiro.
Nice cheeky bit of play. Seen it a few times as well, making use of the EMPs on the roof. With the range, they can extend downwards and catches out the ADS. The nade comes through, shield is gone, as well as the ADS. The beautiful stuff coming out of BDS. But Tim, I can't ignore just how much time has been committed in trying to push on this side of the map. And utility. We've had 7 drones chewed through, nades have been burnt through. Really committed a lot of time, and yet you still got Heroic able to hold around his east side of the map. They see the barrel, but Blaz swings out onto Alems, who maybe got a little bit too keen there as well after seeing the barrel to find the player, but could not do it. BDS down 2 players. Heroic still standing strong with 5.
Sharko's just searching, seeking at the minute. We know that he can be a nightmare if he can get himself inside a construction onto that door, both defensively and attackingly. We've seen him do the business from that location, but Blaz is likely to take a peek onto him soon if he's not careful. He does actually manage to get one. He's going to lose half his health as he does so, though, leaving us now in a 4 versus 3. Damage done to Skiddy as well, but time is ticking by. 45 seconds left to go, and BDS are not in a position to be pushing into sight yet, but here comes Leakyfact on a potential backstab, Des.
Well, he was dueling with Skiddy on the downstairs, but Skiddy was in basement and knew he couldn't push up main stairs without taking a challenge he would likely lose, so he's had to rotate all the way off towards the other side of the building. It does mean Leakyfact has got at least about 30 seconds here to make stuff work, to get a push on the go, but he's managed to round and find Uno as well. BDS almost pulling this back, but there we go. Down go a couple. It's down to just Brede by himself, and he can do nothing as Skiddy completes the rotate up through garage and gets the closing kill.
Just shooting in the back, Heroic able to use those angles to their advantage, and we came into this questioning the map choice of Clubhouse, knowing how good BDS are here. We're a long way yet to go and a lot of siege to play, but Heroic are 2-0 up, and they have started very, very well.
I honestly think it's a really good read by Heroic to make use of the Solus here, and maybe this is part of the pick strategies. They know BDS play this map, they know they play it well. There are plenty of chances to go back and study how they play it, and I mentioned earlier on, one of the best ways to take confidence away from an experienced team like BDS is remove their information. Think about how many drones were going running in towards Cash and CC, and the Solus was just sat there waiting, picking up drone after drone after drone. We had 7 dead inside about a minute and a half. They couldn't really march forward without going in blind, so it came down to winning out those gunfights and pressuring in a little bit blind. And I'll give it to Leakyfac. I think when he had that little duel with Skiddy around the bottom of main stairs, he was like, okay, I know that he can't come up behind me. I've got about a 20-second window here of which to make a play, and he did just that. He got up main stairs and he got a kill. Sadly, there was a response coming back in from the other side. One of the players went down to a Capcan trap. It just all sort of fell apart from there. So I do feel like BDS are making the right decisions with what they've got, and it's, dare I say, making the best of a bad situation when they're lacking a lot of information going into these rounds. But for now, Heroic just seem to have their number.
Well, they're going to try calling it again, Des, and let's see if BDS can answer the call this time or not. It's going to be top floor clearance once again. They're attacking onto bar and stock, so they need to get construction, particularly get control of the hatch. It depends where they want to put the plant down, so if they're going to be looking at planting on the stage, then yes, the construction hatch is what it's all about. If not, and they're looking at planting over on the strip side, then of course they're going to need control of gym and bedroom. For now, they're going to open up Logitech hatch. Not Logitech. I don't know where that came from. Logistics hatch. Other brands are available.
This hatch now sponsored by Logitech.
No, other brands are available, Des, but I don't...
That was a good one.
Idea.
That really tickled me. It's okay, mate. It's all right, but you really tickled me. Thank you for the laugh.
You're welcome.
Logitech hatch.
I have no idea. On you go, Des.
That's really... I don't normally snort when I laugh, but that really tickled me. And you expect me to carry on as if nothing happened, Tim. Whew. Okay then, composure. They are working on the upstairs, Tim. Bathroom's been opened up here as well, which means those players that have been holding on the upstairs should be doing so with a lot more risk, and Joom starts to learn exactly what that risk is, but here he goes on the march. Knows that one is on south balcony, but is he aware about the players up to the other side? Maybe no, gets through the hatch and drops away into safety. He's really got away with one there. They've got 2 kills again. Heroica in a 5v3, make it a 5v2, as no one was watching out towards Cash CC.
5 versus 1, Heroic are just absolutely dominating. I don't know what is going on with BDS. They are certainly playing more like they did at the end of the G2 game rather than at the beginning. And that is a huge problem for them because they just can't get themselves established. So much so that Elems, on a fraction of health, is going to be sitting outside. We've got the old unofficial tactical
Yes.
timeout. Sometimes
It's been a while.
you're in a 1v3, a 1v4, 1v5. Sometimes players will sit outside and they're just baiting for a couple of kills. They're wanting somebody to take the peak. They're trying to just level the playing field a little bit. That's not the case here. Elems is low health. He knows this isn't happening. That's all about having a chat, putting the brakes on and saying what is going on.
And again, for those new viewers, like Tim's just said, this is exactly what happens. Rather than using the one tactical timeout that you get in a game, during which time your coach can talk to you. BDS for the longest time were the team without a coach. They've obviously had a couple they've gone through over the last few years. They have tried to make it work, but the players do back themselves to figure out these problems between them, which is why this extra 60 seconds here has been used by the players to figure out what they need to correct. A little bonus kill for the KD there for Elems, but nothing else really to say. Will not be able to get anything done in this round, which means Heroic go up to 3-0 inside the quarter, Tim. Wonderful start against the club team that everyone feared.
Well, the question is, if we're saying that BDS are the best club team in the world and Heroic beat them, does that make Heroic the best clubhouse team in the world? That's got to be the question, hasn't it?
Unofficial type. So we actually had this actually in a game that...
It's just always something that makes me laugh when you get that, when people try to carry that logic that, you've beaten the best in the world, so you're the best in the world.
I love this because, I don't mind saying the game name, back in League of Legends when I used to commentate on it, there was always a thing, and back when I used to watch it, there was always like an unofficial world title. If you beat the world championship team, you then took that unofficial title. Okay. And if a team beat them at an international event, you'd have like world champions in Korea, but the unofficial champions were in an NA or something like that. People just found it really good fun to follow around, so I guess we could start doing that. Right now, Virtus Pro are technically the unofficial world champions.
There you go.
We're starting a thing this year, Tim. We'll follow it the whole way through.
We'll see how it
Whoever
goes.
beats VP next, that's it. Unofficial world champions.
We'll try and track it. Here we go then. We're into round 4. Heroic are going to rinse and repeat. They've got their 3 wins. It's gone Church, Arsenal, Gym, Bedroom, Bar and Stage, and they are back into Church and Arsenal. I don't know what BDS really do differently here. It feels like Heroic are just winning it all over the map at the minute. They're winning the gunfights, they're winning the roam fights, they're winning when it gets pushed onto site. They just have the answers everywhere.
Honestly, me and Fresh basically communicated by... Oh! Hello, Jim!
They're winning it on the entry. They're winning it everywhere.
Ow! Feel the burn on that one, Jesus. BDS just can't buy an entry, they can't buy around him. It's looking really difficult, no matter what they try and do. This is the thing I love about Heroic, because the thing I always used to say about BDS was if you let them execute in a 5v5 or a 5v whatever on this map, they will win. I can think of so many times in my memory from a couple of years ago where they would execute onto the basement site on this map with 70 seconds still on the clock. They'd done all they had to clear the map. They were unstoppable. The way you trip up teams like that, and we commented on this back in the first game of the day, is to trip them up early. Get rid of a critical player. Take a risk or two. And the problem was, you couldn't catch BDS out before, but as teams and players have leveled up around them and they haven't really moved too far forwards, you are starting to see them get caught out, and that's exactly what Heroic have been doing in this game.
It is. BDS, they lost at the
Are we
minute.
on for a 14-0 start for Heroic, Tim?
No, I'm not saying it yet, but BDS, they just look lost at the minute. They just don't really have the answers. We really do expect better from this side. Doom's going to get himself another here, I tell you now, because BDS have got absolutely no clue, Des. They're just moving around here as if it's free. Doom's up amongst them. He's going to do damage. He's continuing. He's looking for more.
Never
BDS
get away with that.
How can you not be aware that somebody's coming from main stairs? Granted, they get him when he heads back, but it's too late. The damage is done. How is there not a draw there?
Oh, no, the rat. Who knows the rat? Oh, the flash. Oh,
He got it!
What? That should never happen.
Unbelievable play from Uno as he manages to slam a headshot whilst full white flashed. Unbelievable. Heroic, honestly, just shoot a bullet in the air and you're likely for it to come down and get a kill. That is the way their game is going at the minute. Luck is with them, but they are also playing well on top of it, and that is when a team becomes really deadly. 4-0.
I held back a little bit yesterday when it came around to saying it. I said, I can't wait to see Blaz rail Shaiko. I'll say it here, Heroic are shagging BDS. This ain't even looking close when it comes to a competition right now. The early round, destroying them. Consistent 5v3s, tearing apart everything BDS are trying to do. Not at all surprised to see, in fact, I'm arguably surprised it's come this late, that BDS have called in a tactical timeout. They've got 2 rounds to get something on the attack, or they're down 6-0. Heroic are trying to look towards that 14-0, and there is then no way back for the French side. We spoke about Wild and got excited about them. Let's not forget the heroes here in Group A, Tim, is Heroic. They'll be 2-0 up as well.
I love, and I've always said this about Europe, and I maintain it now, I just love how unpredictable it is. You know, you come in there, you've got a world champion, you've got your previous major winners, 2 of them, and all of them are struggling and are getting beaten by Wild and Heroic. And I love it. The depth that we have in Europe is fantastic. There are so many good players here on these teams that are able to come out and get results, and Heroic are showing it. You know, they've had a couple of changes. It's not slowed them down. They're coming in, they're looking fantastic. They're now taking BDS apart piece by piece. BDS look rattled right now.
But how do you even predict that? You don't. Is the simple answer. This you should have predicted or at least known about.
That made me angry. You might have heard it from me at the time. That wound me up.
Tim doesn't get angry easy. That though was a god kill.
It wound me up. Did that? Sorry, BDS.
Unreal.
It's main stairs. It's main stairs. It's not an unusual flank. It's main stairs. You should either have a drone. You should have somebody sat watching it.
Did you hear that, mate? It's main stairs.
Main stairs. Like, you should have somebody watching it. You should have a drone. You should anything. All of the above.
I might have missed it. Can you spell main stairs for me?
You can't have somebody walking up main stairs and killing you. When you...
The thing is, I know how you get rattled. I know how it shows. You did it in the group chat earlier on WhatsApp.
It's rare that I get
when you
rattled.
keep on talking about something and when no one's responding to you and you keep on going, that's when I know something has really got under your bonnet.
Yeah.
It's a telling sign.
That main stairs. You're in church and Arsenal, Des. You can't leave it alone. Right, I'm going to leave it alone. Here we go. Round 5. We're into it. BDS.
Tim, I'm knocking on your door later tonight. I'm like, just get a key card.
Just whisper through the door.
I'm going to come in and just go, main stairs. And you'll be like, ah! Wake up screaming.
Right, BDS, you're on the attack. It's round 5. You've got to get yourself a win. This is your map. You can't be suffering like this.
Yes, they
but
can.
it continues as Skiddy manages to shut down Shaiko for another opener. But Leakifact with a beautiful trade there picks up his man, and it's 4 versus 4.
They did not expect it to be that deep, I don't think, either. And Doom, I think quite smartly, well, I say smartly, he dropped away, but he also left his teammate for dead there. He does keep his life on side, though. They still have the Solus available. They can keep on picking off these drones. It's looking great for them once again. And even when we saw Heroic without the Solus on side, they still won around. So it's not like it's all down to the Solus, but it is doing a lot of work for them when it is on side.
Whew. Well, 4 versus 4 BDS. They need to get themselves established inside of the map. I feel like map control is something that they've struggled with a little bit. You know, last time they attacked onto Gym and Bedroom back in round 2.
I love this.
They just weren't really pushing into site itself. They didn't have any control of site itself, and that's something that they have to change.
He keeps checking to make sure he's not being droned out here as well, and just checking if any drones are on the way through. Kayak's inside of Logi looking to challenge, but has that support from below. So it's a real risk to come stepping onto. No, 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 no. No, not like this. Okay, thank God. Woo!
It was close, I tell you now. I'm surprised no damage was done.
Yeah.
But Doom gets away with his life at least. Kayak is low health. There's a real opportunity for BDS here. And, you know, what a good time it would be to get the round. Here they go. The drop into logistics. They managed to get 2. It's 4 versus 2 now. It's 4 versus 1. BDS look like they might just be able to stop the tide, Des. It looked like they had a bucket with a hole in it trying to stop the tide previously. But now they manage to hold it back. Uno, he's going to sit inside a shower, but Breeder, he's going to get this diffuser down. Uno knows when he comes around, he's going to be challenged. He is immediately cut down by Leakifact, and that is going to be BDS taking their first round. It's still 4-1 Heroic.
Whew, okay. Finally, BDS get themselves on the board. A really good play late round there as well, I feel, with 3, not even sending 2 players into Logi, Tim. 3 players bursting in through Logi. And I think with Leakifact early in the round getting straight up against Castor, that's really what unlocked things for the team with Doom dropping away. I kind of questioned it at the time. Could he have stayed around and supported Skiddy and really doubled down on that whole of Cash GC? Maybe, but hindsight is 2020.
It's going to be round 6. We've got Bar and Stock as the final site. Heroic choosing to move on despite the loss. They would have had the opportunity should they wish to go back to Gym and Bedroom, but they decide they're not going to push their luck and they're going to go to that mid floor and try and get a 5-1 half. Honestly, if BDS, I feel like I've been saying this through both play days, but if BDS come away with a 2-4 here, it's an absolute steal.
Oh, it is.
Heroic have been running over them so far, but I tell you what, it could be actually, Des, an interesting parallel. Let's not forget BDS went 4-0 up against G2 and crumbled yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll just leave that there.
Are you suggesting there's a reverse in action
I'll
here?
just leave it there, Des. I'm just going to leave it there and we'll see what happens.
It was also after a tactical timeout.
I'll just leave it there and we'll see what happens. We might come back to that. Put a pin in it. We might come back to it.
The thing is, you've done the real classic setup here where if it goes the way that you're predicting, you can be like, see, I told you. If nothing happens, you haven't even got to reference it because you said, let's just leave it there and don't worry about it.
It's almost as if I've done this before.
Bull crap is what it is, Tim.
Here we go then, round 6 underway. We're going to have top floor clearance coming in once again from BDS. Looks like there's going to be a bit of a stock focus, so they need to be getting hold of cash and construction, and that is exactly where they are going. Moving quickly, as you say, Uno's going to get himself back out of that strip side. I picked up on the operator plane over there previously. It is an easy place to get stuck in. It's a little bit of a lobster pot, really. There's one way in and one way out, and it's easy to cut that off.
2 for the price of 1.
There you go, good use of the Flores as well, but it looks like Uno is going to look to get himself a little bit aggressive here, just feeding that information back into his team.
The fact that they've got Alems on the Flores as well, I think he was one of the first ones who came out and said when Flores first came into the pool that he's the most broken operator in the game. Now, we were commenting on him earlier on back on Villa when we saw him banned away, and I said at the time, you know, he's a bit of a niche operator. Teams will often look to employ him to deal with shields, banshees, things that they can comfortably get drones in to deal with. Especially when there's no mute on side, for example, it becomes far easier, and that's exactly what Heroic do not have. They have got the Solus, but she can't do everything by herself.
hear those suppressors just rattling off at the minute as challenge after challenge comes in, but nobody's going to take any damage as of yet. It's all been very tentative, and once again, Doom on the Malusi able to just wriggle away there and avoid any of that chip damage. Shaco's going to send in a nade. He's trying to work from construction. BDS have actually got a reasonable amount of control here. If they can hold them out of logistics, they don't really need to push any deeper into Master. They can just hold them back and think about getting a plant down.
Whew. I mean, Uno will know that's there. He's on the Solus. He'll know there's a claimer outside the window, but I think for a second, Shaiko just completely missed that he was sat. Not Shaiko, sorry, I forget who the player was, but someone was lurking around. Either way, kills start flying on through. Construction, the main point of entry for BDS, as 3 players were stacked up around this door, trying to do what they can as June drops away. Finds the one man down in the ground in that frost mat, down to a 2 versus 2. Heroic holding up around main stairs, and BDS are on site, Tim. That's the real danger here. They've got the long vertical angles, though, and Lems has gone down for free. Didn't respect the angle. Breeder left all alone, but can he do it against 2, Tim?
That's the big problem that BDS are facing here, Breeder particularly, is that the verticals are still in the possession. Oh, and there you go. As soon as June manages to find the angle, he can hear that the diffuser is going down. He just needs to find the man, essentially. The holes are already there. They're pre-made. They're good to go, and he picks it up. Heroic 5-1. Who had Heroic 5-1 on the defensive club against BDS on a bingo card?
Who did you predict to win this game?
BDS? Yeah, I said BDS. I genuinely thought...
Did you flip-flop fresh back over to Heroic? I think you did in the end.
I just looked at yesterday and I thought, Heroic, yes, it was a decent result. It was a good performance, but it was against the TT9 that struggled, is the top and bottom of it. So I just thought we were going to see a little bit more out of BDS today, but no.
You know what we need? We need to dial fresh in at some point. When it comes round to like us talking smack and about predictions, we can pull him in for the conversation. He sits in the studio with us anyway. The chums.
He said he sits here anyway, he might as well make himself useful.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you're very useful.
I think he is as well. He sits over there and looks very pretty.
Right. Church and Arsenal, it's going to be as a first defence for BDS. We've seen them defend it many, many times. Quite often it's going to be a turtle sort of strategy. They don't tend to get themselves out in the map too much, BDS. But it looks like there's going to be some mute jammers placed up on the top floor. It could simply be a lot of time wasting, forcing those drones to avoid the mute jammers means that the defenders can just hold that space without really holding it. The attackers have got to go in and face check. They've got to make sure there's nobody up there, so it sort of burns 30-40 seconds for free essentially, and I think that's going to be a little bit of what BDS are doing, although it looks like there might be one that has just stayed up there on the top floor for the time being. If that's the case, then Heroic certainly need to go in and deal with it, but they're making quick work of that kitchen hat.
I think they missed 2 bounce off now. I thought they did bounce off, but nope, there we go. Now we go into the classic rotation of 2x Kairos going down, an impact coming out, 2x Kairos going down, an impact coming out, 2x Kairos going down, and no impact coming out from Alems. He's waiting for the next set to go on here, but we'll just keep on going through this rotation until the job is done.
He knows that they're coming down. There you go. Out goes the last impact nade, and then the hatch will get open next. Breeder is going to be holding on to Dirt Tunnel. And the problem here is we're going to need another one on there. That's going to be a third one detonating, which I don't think will be sufficient to drop the hatch. Yes, it has been. There we go. Enough damage is done. The hatches,
one still went off that I was a bit like, huh?
The hatches work on a percentage basis of damage. It used to be that you had to do certain patterns or open certain things, but as far as I'm aware now, it's sort of like, you know, as long as you get over a threshold of 40% damage, 50%, you know, whatever the threshold is, however it is, you know, done whatever pattern it is, wherever it is on the hatch, it'll be enough to pop it open.
Absolutely. Well, with that done and established, they've got control of kitchen. Heroic in a pretty good spot. But I've seen teams before just force everything through the kitchen hatch, and they've paid for it with their lives very, very quickly. So it's about the extra diversification they can add to their attacks here. Where else are they going to push? With Skinny droning down main stairs, you get the idea someone's going to appear there at some point and hold the long angle all the way through towards site. Alongside that, though, you either want something like blue or dirt to also work in your favour. Chances are Moto's going to get opened up here as well. They do have enough X-Kairos, I want to say, to get things opened up. No hard breach gadgets anywhere else for the rest of the team. They have the Selmas if they need them, but that's about all they've got to rely on here. And we are coming in towards the last 45 seconds, Tim, so I do want to see him pick up the pace and show us where this push is coming from.
It could actually be a lot of wasted time for Heroic. I commented how they had 2 minutes left on the clock. You know, there was no roam game from BDS. They were able to go in. They didn't really need to do much about top floor. They were opening hatches up at the 2-minute mark.
Look at BDS.
And yet they are still going. This is
situation.
Textbook BDS on Church and Arsenal, and Heroic just haven't found a way to even make a dent in it. Shaiko's going to take down Doom on blue, and that cuts out an avenue of attack for Heroic. It's all going to be one-sided now, and honestly, I think BDS go on to win this round. It's 5 versus 3 as Renshiro picks up Skiddy. Kayak gets in through the Ash Rush spot to try and put the diffuser down.
Well, here they might have a good spot. Actually, they got the long angle, but no, this Blaz really should be letting that one happen and get away with it as well. Down to the last 5 seconds. Heroic seem to be out of it. Sure, Blaz finds 2, but they are consolation kills. BDS with the closeout. At least get themselves a second round in this game, Tim.
It's a tall hill for BDS to climb now, and it's certainly not going to be an easy one, but one step at a time is all they can do. That's the only way that they're going to get to the summit of this, and that is a good first round for them. Gym and Bedroom is going to be their next defensive site here in round 8. You know, as I said, the disappointment for me for Heroic there is it was textbook BDS defence. You know, you knew exactly what it was going to be. They got the kitchen hatch opened at the 2-minute mark. I don't feel like that final execute towards site should be coming at the 30-second, the 20-second mark. You know, there's a lot of time in between there. I know that you need to check the top floor, you need to make sure, but we all know, we can all make a pretty good educated guess that it's unlikely BDS are up there. You know, just get across there, sweep across, you know, take the risk and get yourself pushing onto site.
To be fair, Shaiko spinning on his heel and deleting Skiddy.
Oh, it was beautiful.
That removed any back pressure that was coming in from the side of Heroic. The backstab opportunity gone, so BDS could just turn all their attention out towards the west side, towards the hatches, out towards main stairs. They knew what was coming. I think if Heroic had a little bit more pace in their setup and knew more definitively what they wanted to achieve, it would have come across a little bit better. But you'll allow them one bum round so far, given they were up 5-1 and still have plenty of opportunity to close this game out. For BDS, it is still a tall hill to climb. Heroic need a single round to at least guarantee overtime and, by proxy, at least 1 point from this game.
Lems is playing on the wall as the Bandit at the moment, so may well try a little bit of trickery on there. He's actually left one side not electrified at the minute, and Uno obviously very much aware of that. The double castle barricades are going to help him stay in position for the time being at least. He will get a Bandit battery applied now. He's just going to be waiting. Beautiful!
Love it. Selma onto the window and Jim. The nade comes through, opens it up, and immediately someone is there to snap onto the Bandit trigger. That's the kind of coordination you want to see. Now they've got the right side opened up, so they can get this opened up, knowing the Bandit is offline. Nice and clinical from Heroic, much better than a little bit of the indecisiveness that we saw in the mid-round previously. But now we're getting towards that mid-round point, Tim. Great. You've got the West Breach, Now what? How do you deal with the uncertainty that follows?
Well, this is a really dangerous round for BDS to lose potentially, because of course it puts Heroic onto that map point. Going to be very difficult for them from there. You're going to have Doom just sending in the drone. Is he going to spot out the man on catwalk? The Solus is there, picks up the drone, will finish it off, but it means that they are aware of Leakyfac's position, and he's going to have to start thinking about how he gets back to site. For now, he's dropped himself down to lounge, but he's not going to overcommit down there. Surely he's going to get picked up. Doom, beautiful. I feel like Leakyfac's just walked into the trap there.
Well, it was Leakyfac trying to kill June, because June was the one who got the entry kill, let's not forget, onto the Bandit. He was out on that south side balcony, getting the kill straight through. That's when you've had Leakyfac go down into garage, open up the garage wall, and then try and go for a kill onto June, who hit the deck straight away, dropped off the wall, and then has rotated round to catch Leakyfac on his return. Beautiful start to this round. The first kill coming from team play, the second one from great intuition coming out of June, and a third as well with a nade from below. Is this Shaiko, Tim?
Jume's having a real game so far. He's just absolutely one step ahead. It's fantastic. Blaz is at the top of main stairs, just trying to pressure in towards site a little bit, but he knows that there's one either side. Breeder just a little crouch peek coming around the door there, but he's going to be full white flash. Renshiro's down. He's the last man alive. Breeder gets one, but can do no more as Doom finishes things off. It's going to be a 4K in the round, and Heroic, they go on to map point in what will be an unthinkable victory against BDS on Clubhouse, should they win one more.
Oh boy. We said after that first game, Tim, G2 versus VP, That was the first, but definitely not the last upset for the day. And my God, is this proving to be one. The thing is, if it came down to the wire in overtime and it was, for example, an 8-6 win or an 8-7 to Heroic, I'd be like, okay, fair play. I could see a world where, with the talent they've got on side, the fraggers they've got in their roster, I could see them battling and knocking BDS away. But to do it on Clubhouse, to be at 6-2, potentially a 7-2 win, that wasn't written in the script.
Not at all. And then defending for the game. And we go to Bar and Stock. We go to a site that is often a third or even fourth choice site for some teams. And BDS feel that this is the place. This is the one. This is where the salvation starts, Des. And I'll be honest, I'm not too sure.
Oh boy. All right, let's see if BDS can hold on for any longer. We went back to talking a lot about Solus in that first half for Heroic. BDS are running it here. They've got the Valkyrie on side. They've got the Maestro on side. Everything is screaming Intel or Intel denial. Back like when we used to see Mute and Mozzie paired up alongside something like a Valkyrie, you had the Mozzie that sort of existed both as drone denial but also drone capture, so you had additional Intel. The Valk obviously giving you Intel, and then the Mute on side to help deny Intel away as well. So it's a real kind of strange distortion on that. You have got the Mute on side here too. So BDS are looking to take a similar ploy to Heroic in terms of denying away information from the attackers, but Heroic so far have looked relatively undeterred. And we've got the Brava on side. I really want to see one of those cams captured.
Look at this progress again. Same technique used. Doom ready to go through the door there, but Renshiro, they've no idea that he's crouching his way up the main stairs, and he manages to pick up the opening kill. That is a great start for BDS. Exactly what they needed and completely unexpected from Heroic. But Skiddy finding Shaiko on a long angle that it looked like Shaiko might prevail on, but unable to find that kill. And that is Skiddy able to then control main stairs.
Shaiko's had a torrid couple of days when you think about it. I think he was 2-9 yesterday up until the point he got a 4K and at least recovered some of the KD in that game. But even here today, 5-8, far from the worst scoreline that you're ever going to see. But knowing how he was the top-rated player at SI, at least before the finals, you'd hope to see at least a little bit more coming out of him. But has been challenged at every angle by the side of Heroic. 4v4 with about half the round still to play, Tim.
It is. Having lost Doom is a big blow for Heroic. He has been, it's not necessarily about the kills. There are other players that are contributing there, but he has been a bit of a driving force over the last couple of rounds. So they need to make sure that loss doesn't slow them down. Renshiro is half health, going to be down at the bottom of the main stairs. But right now, Heroic, they just seem a little bit lost for me. They're not trying to get top floor control. They are, of course, attacking onto bar and stage. So I'm sort of just wondering, exactly where is this push coming from?
Now they know they're a little bit stuck. No sound left to work with. It's been impacted off the wall. They've got to make their march forward happen, just blind if they can. And as you've seen, it's been completely rebutted by the side of BDS. Kai, the last one left standing. He is 8-3, but it's a lot to ask of the man. He's not going to be able to do it. BDS move up to 3 rounds, Tim.
Well, that is the first of 4 in a row that BDS need. 25% complete. They've got another 75% to find if they want to get themselves into overtime. And arguably, having won it, it's maybe not a bad site choice because you get it out of the way. And I would say now they should have 2 sites to come that they are confident on. The first is going to be Church and Arsenal. They've already had a win here. Heroic wasting a lot of time in the mid-round, I felt, and not able to pressure sites sooner. Even though they had map control for a long time before that point, Heroic have to speed this one up.
I used to joke about this site and say, how do you know BDS? It's a really crap joke, by the way. But how do you know BDS are roaming on this site? They're playing Valkyrie. That used to be the extent of their roaming capacity. Everyone else would play on site. They'd have a lens off somewhere, chucking a couple of outcams down, and they'd be back on site inside 45 seconds. BDS were basically always guaranteed to play Turtle on this site. And looking at the lineup, I'm kind of expecting it again. We'll see if Leaky Fak and Shaiko do get off and look to cause a little bit of bother out and about around the map. But for Heroic, if you've seen BDS play this site, you know exactly how it's going to go down. They've already attacked into it once. They looked a little bit indecisive in the mid-round. That's where the course correction needs to come in.
Absolutely. We'll see whether Leak of Fact remains off-site for the time being. It wouldn't be the end of the world. The Mute Jammers are out there again, so there could be an element where Heroic think, maybe we don't need to face check every corner of the top floor, and it could be something they could get away with. Skiddy's going to be straight inside the map again, something that Heroic have picked up on a couple of times, haven't really messed about with. They've been getting themselves straight involved, and we've got the Hibana opening the wall there. Uno ready to go in following it. He had the Thatcher just ready, Blaz with an EMP to take away anything from that wall, but as you say, Skiddy, he's going to be looking to try and catch out Leaky
Look,
Fact, but
Tim.
no, away he goes.
It hasn't really changed. I think they're all back on site here inside 45 seconds. There we go. That's how you know they're roaming, and within 45 seconds, they're back on site. Some things never change.
Well, let's see if the outcome of the round changes, because last time BDS did that, they won it. It was round 7, and they were able to lock it down. This time, it's round 10, and they've got to try again, and this time, they're fighting for their lives inside of the match, and to a degree, Des, they're fighting for their lives inside of the group. This could be 2 matches down with 0 points.
You're fighting for 3rd place then.
It's almost unthinkable for BDS. You know,
it is.
They didn't have the best SI, but they had a very good Yonchaping.
Oh, very good. You know, arguably the best you can possibly have. They
I would have said you couldn't do much better.
No.
You know, but they just... I don't know, the consistency is just such a problem for BDS at the minute.
Yeah. And with Leaky Fact coming in, you know, he obviously joined in the middle of last year, and he made a real big difference in this team in terms of the aggressive potential they had, you know. Shout out to Rafael, was fine, didn't really, you know, bring a lot of injection to the team, which is what Leaky Fact has done for them. But even now, you're still kind of seeing that old school BDS coming back in where it can be a little lethargic at points, and like you said, inconsistent.
Skiddy just opening up the verticals. Again, it's taken 2 minutes for Heroic to get to a point where they're confident that everything's clear. They get into kitchen corridor, they start taking up the floorboards and just clearing out what's ahead of them. They need to speed this bit up. You know, they need to be pushing onto site a little bit sooner, pressuring those BDS key positions in blue, in dirt, not allowing them to stay locked in those positions. I know that it's one of the most difficult defences in Siege to break down. BDS in church, on Clubhouse, but they have to be pushing them. You know, before that final 20
he's ready.
seconds. Look at this from Nuno.
Oh, it got impacted off.
He's not going to be doing anything, Des.
He was so ready for that to burst open and instantly kill the bandit, but a good bit of double stack in there. Again, though, BDS have ran this defense for years. There's surely a way that teams have realized it can be broken open, but so far the answer appears to be no. June coming for a backstab. Blaz has dropped inside a Moto. This is where it all begins.
Certainly is. We're going to have the challenge coming in from Moto, but shut down by Renshiro and Shaiko. They both go down, and all of a sudden it's a 3v2. Heroic have come out on top of the bloodbath there somehow. 6 seconds left to go. Kayak has diffuser in hand. Not in a position to start putting it down yet, but he manages to creep in. He's going to be next to the vending machine. Can they stop him? A Lems Nitro. That's going to be it. No, it's been shot out. They've got away with it, Des. It's 2v2, and the diffuser is down. Brede gets skinny. 2v1 as Kayak picks one up after the plant, and it is all up to this last 30 seconds.
And you always want Brede in these positions, but he's got to be able to win it out. A C4 just missing away, and the real damage here, though, is one's above. They've got the hatch. Sure, he can long arm it, but he's got to find a kill if he's going to make this work. Brede trying to stick it, expects the rotation down behind him. Right idea, must hear the drop inside of blue, but knows there's also one on the behind here. Has got to move fast, just about misses his man, sprays through the wall, but Kayak at the bottom of main stairs gives the win to Heroic. They take 6 points, and for BDS, things are starting to look real dire, Tim.
2 games in, and BDS have 0 points. Heroic have 6 and are looking absolutely fantastic in the group so far. They now leapfrog G2. They are sat at the top of the table, and Heroic are looking